This is Jeff Steitzer, and you're listening to the Xbox Expansion Pass. Double kill, triple kill, overkill, killing spree, killing frenzy, Kilimanjaro, kill-tacular, kill-pocalypse, slayer, brains.
Welcome one, welcome all to episode 141 of the Xbox Expansion Pass, recorded on Sunday, July 31st, 2022. I am your host, Luke Lohr, the InsipidGhost. In this episode, we're joined by Joseph Moran, aka Mr. Badbit, host of the Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast, on to discuss the latest gaming news, including some impressive Xbox sales numbers, Discord arriving into the Xbox ecosystem, and excitement around WB's Multiversus. After that, I'll sit down with CEO of Hero Beat Studios, Javier Romelo, to chat about their recently launched title, Endling, Extinction is Forever. Enjoy. Yet another week of gaming is upon us and behind us. Welcome to XEP, discussing all things in the Gamerverse as they pertain to the Xbox ecosystem. And as I am wont to do each and every week, I like to start the show by offering words of kindness to those who have made my gaming week better. And this week, the words of kindness are indeed twofold. The first, of course, is going to Nerd Propellant. Now, this is a cool story, guys. I was feeling some Sea of Thieves the other day, wanting to get a statue, a collector's edition, to go next to my Master Chiefs, my God of Wars, my Doom statues, etc. And Sea of Thieves does not have that. So where did my late night Googling take me but Etsy? And I found this really cool chest of legends over on what I thought was just like this random store or whatnot. I saw it. I wanted it. I clicked buy. I snagged this thing. I'm so excited for when it gets here. And I get a message the next morning from Nerd Propellant asking me if it was me that placed the order. Indeed, Nerd Propellant is a listener of Cast Co-op, of Season Gaming's Bitcast, and of the Xbox Expansion Pass. How cool is that? My day was absolutely made. I went out to get something fun for myself. Turns out the person that makes these incredible things listens to XEP. My day was absolutely made. So Nerd Propellant, you are amazing. I can't wait for the Chest of Legends to get here. It's going to be super cool sitting on my shelf next to all my other collector's editions. You rock. The second words of kindness go to my guest this week, Mr. Badbit, host of the Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast, helping me out this week. Joe, how are you, man?
I don't know why I'm here.
You are here, good sir, because I feel like I'm fighting something off, not sick,
Yeah.
but like I'm tired, I get that fatigue going. And it's been lingering for about 6 days. I took the Rona test, negative. Humble brag.
Humble brag.
Humble brag is right. But
Yeah.
I really wanted a second voice in here to bounce some of these things off of, and I'm so appreciative that you stepped in. As you know, I'm not a big fan of you. I've often felt like I look at you, you smell bad. It's like, ugh, I don't know.
Yeah, that's why I was like the kind words. I'm like, I really, really hate this guy, I'm not a fan of his face. But here we are.
Yeah, here we are. Indeed. A bit of housekeeping, folks. If you would, drop a review over on the YouTubes, not the YouTubes, the iTunes, the Spotifys. Put a like and a subscribe over on the YouTubes. That would be appreciative. And while I was off last week, I did publish an interview with the creative director for Skull and Bones over on Season Gaming. That was a print one. So while there was no XEP last week while I was on vacation, I was out there doing some things. I was doing some things. Yeah.
There you go.
I'm a doer of things,
As long as you say so.
That's how I hang my hat up. I'm like, yeah, did some things today. Never gets awkward.
No, you know what, Luke? Can I get real with you before we start the show?
Of course.
I like you're like, I'm bringing you on because I have something. I'm a little under the weather. Yeah. I'm about to be under the weather.
You feel
so it? I feel it in my knees and in my shins right now, man. I'm feeling it. I too took a COVID test, and let me tell you something. COVID, you never even had your car. I didn't. I'm negative. So humble brag.
Humble brag for us, man. Humble brag. I'll tell you what. You and I were playing some games last night, and we got wrecked. We fought well. We fought well.
We fought really well. To let the audience know, we were playing Sea of Thieves. Of course, I was carrying Luke in the team.
Yeah, right.
And we first off, we double slooped it, humble brag. And so that means we just kept on trying for 10 minutes to log into the same server as 2 sloops. We did it. And a galleon tried to mess with us.
Put that down.
Oh boy, it was embarrassing for them because they were legitimately not like, they were new. And so like, why would you come at us the way you did? Right. I don't know why. But we came at them back. We took all their stuff because we were reaping.
We saw the whites of their eyes.
Yeah,
we saw fear.
We saw fear. We sensed it, and we took advantage of the situation. Sunk them, got their stuff, and because we were reaping, we were reapers. It was Gold and Glory week, and we're now doing like this fortress. This one sloop, white sail sloop, and if you know what white sails means, it's bad. And and these 2 guys were questionably incredible. Like
at first we were like, oh, these guys are really good, which happens. Yeah. These are server hoppers. They're white sails. They server hop just to fight people, ruin their day. Like, they're not the fun kind. They won't they'll keep coming, you know?
Yeah, until they win.
Right. And it's attrition. And like we beat them. And we were like, man, they're really good. And then they kept coming. And then it started to pile up. The questionable moments were like, how are you doing this? How are you doing that? And it felt suspect. And for the first time in my Sea of Thieves history, I reported someone. I wanted that looked into. It was weird.
Yeah, because here's the thing. Luke, usually he gets duked on. It's very embarrassing. And he'll be like, oh, they're obviously cheating. I'm like, Luke, let's just see if they're good. And he's like, no, they're cheating. How can they get me? I'm the great Luke Lohr. Do you know what I do? Like, XEP.
The doer of things.
Yeah, the doer of things. I got on their ship. They blunderbusted me off. And then it was like a high wave. And they were speeding like full speed university, just in due north. And no way I could see the ship, no way they could see me. And then they just get me with a headshot, like from like 60 yards away. It was like instantaneous. So it was very questionable. So like last night,
stuff like that happened a lot with them.
Yeah, it hurt. Last night hurt. Yeah, on Sea of Thieves, because Sea of Thieves gives or it takes, and it took everything last night.
It does. It is a give and take game. It does hurt sometimes, and it's funny because we just wanted to get rich. You know what I mean? Yeah. And these kids had no interest in that. They only wanted to ruin the day of other people. That's all they care about, and it's kind of a bummer.
That's the thing with Sea of Thieves, man. It's like, I understand the meta, but sometimes it's a little bit much because I just want my gold and my glory, and my Athena rep. That's it. Yeah.
I don't mind getting sunk. I don't mind losing.
Yeah.
I mind it when it's like, oh, I'm only here to make your day but bad. Like,
exactly.
It's like you're not actually playing the game, you know?
Yeah. You're just being trolls. And that's the thing. Like, here's the thing. Sea of Thieves, here's a hidden tip. If you think you're about to get griefed on or there's trolling afoot, you get the old adage, when they go low, you go high. Just ignore them, make them waste their time, and then they'll eventually give up.
Yep.
Yeah,
it's true.
So that was my night last night. It's pretty rough.
Yeah, well, it wasn't great. We're gonna give it another go later today.
Sure, absolutely. But humble brag, I know this is an Xbox show. I platinumed Infamous First Light.
Oh, that's a great game, dude. I think I have that platinum as well. That's good.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. I like her powers a lot. Didn't like the story, but I liked her neon powers. It was nice.
I've liked Second Son better than First Light. But that doesn't seem to be the standard. Most people go the other way.
Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of like I don't know. There's rose tinted glasses with that one. Because I'm probably the only PlayStation guy that wasn't overly fond of Infamous.
Yeah,
like
you're the only one.
Yeah. Everybody else is like, this is great. And I'm like, I really hate Zeke. Like every time he talks, it makes me upset.
That was before Troy Baker was an NFT bro.
Yeah,
and I liked him then.
Oh, was he? I'm
Zeke? Pretty sure. I don't think he was Zeke. You think he was just the main character in?
Oh no! Oh, in Second Son. Yeah.
So, well, let's switch over here, man. We got plenty. No, man, it's great. We've got some good stuff to talk about here. Let's start with Xbox and Discord. If you are in the insider ring, Discord and Microsoft announced that Discord is coming. Discord voice chat is coming to Xbox skip ahead beta testers or alpha testers, as they call them. Pretty much what this really means is that you can have your voice chat linked into your Xbox account and then use Discord on your console. It's on the Xbox dashboard itself. Calls are neatly integrated into the dashboard. You can find your parties, chat features. To me, this is great because it's options. And I think options are great for people. I'm not a big Discord fan. I actually get overwhelmed from it, but I think I'm in the minority. A lot of people use it and love it. You're a big user of it. You have a Discord community, yeah?
That's right. It's alive. It's thriving at the Trophy Room Discord server. Link in our description over at the Trophy Room Show on YouTube. But yeah, it's big. I love Discord. This is awesome to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is fantastic.
I always get stuck when things are in like alpha or skip ahead or beta test. I tend to wait until it comes out. Like you and I waited on co-op for Halo Infinite. We said we just wait for the full release. I didn't really feel the need to skip ahead on this one.
Yeah, I'm kind of like pick and choose. So I got humble brag. I got into the PlayStation 5 UI beta, so I've been testing that out, and I'm like, oh my god, I finally get to play this console on a monitor. Isn't that wild? In 2022, year of our Lord, and and so like with this integration, I don't know if I would have hopped on board. I just feel like it's interesting, Luke, that Xbox got this. Like PlayStation just funded, I think just a year ago, or put some money down and fused Discord with cash.
Yeah.
So you would figure that like PlayStation would have probably gotten this first. Do you feel that's kind of weird?
I noticed that, and I thought about that because they did invest into Discord, and it reminded me of just how much these business deals go beyond the brand of Xbox or PlayStation. And you've got Azure servers powering different things from on the PlayStation side, and you look at some of the decisions that are made, and often it's not about Xbox and PlayStation; it's about Sony and Microsoft, and what these other companies want to do and the technology they need to do it and who's got it at the time. I also think that Xbox is probably pretty inviting to a company like Discord with how open and transparent they are. They've got this very well-tested pilot program of the skip ahead, the alpha insiders, that kind of stuff that is already set up. That's not really PlayStation's bread and butter at the moment. And so I think that is probably enticing for them. And that was the reason being, as opposed to it being like, we're putting money in and now they're going there. It's probably just far more down to business and numbers. Plus, PlayStation right now, they're struggling to get units out. Maybe there's just a bigger install base to work with. That could be it. I don't know.
I think when it comes to Xbox, they've been way more open, and you're right, inviting to platforms and third parties that we probably wouldn't think they would be. So I know like around a year-ish plus ago, there was talks that Microsoft was looking into acquiring Discord, because they want that cross-play. They want that cross-play between PC and Xbox functionality. And what better way to use that than use the most popular, voice chat system in games, which is Discord, to kind of, stitch the two together. And although Discord passed on that deal, I bet there was something in a handshake somewhere that was just like, okay, so listen, you don't want to join us, but sure, but you want to at least integrate your brand with us in this type of capacity. That was probably the talk. I think they were probably working on this. Microsoft saw it, was impressed by, and then they were just like, hey, want to join our team? They said no, but they still allowed them to put Discord on Xbox. And I think this is a really great, no matter what the case is, this is a really great sign for what's to come. Crossplay is becoming more and more commonplace, and we need a better way to talk to each other, via PC to Xbox to mobile to PlayStation.
Right.
So it will, like, and Nintendo's eating glue out there with their little mobile app. But like, that's what I think is the important note here. More so than like PlayStation, I think will eventually get this.
Absolutely.
But
and
we
would want them to. We would want them to.
Oh, absolutely. I want them to right now because, to be honest, Their party chat is the worst.
Yeah, I'm
It's
not
so
a.
bad.
Our buddy Kev got a PS5, you
Yeah,
know, and he was trying to use its UI and some of like the systems that, like, once you learn it, you learn it, but like
absolutely.
it is not, I would say, user friendly
Mhm.
at first. And then he also discovered that if you hold the power button, it does not turn the system off. That is
Yeah.
the single most infuriating thing on any piece. My phone doesn't do that. It's so annoying.
Kyle and I get into disagreement. Kyle's like, it's just literally like two button presses. I'm like, no, it's 7, and it used to not be this way. It used to be better than this.
Mhm.
So we should demand better than that. I have no idea why that's a thing.
Yeah.
Press and hold is, do you want to turn off this device?
Yeah, should be.
It should be.
But yeah,
But
and on
here we
this
are.
this Discord thing, it reminds me of Twitch. You want this technology being everywhere. I'm absolutely fine with it. I'm anxious for it to get integrated and people able to use it. And I'm anxious for the alpha insiders and such to finish up with it, because once it goes full launch, yeah, I'll test it out. Because why wouldn't you? You know,
Yeah,
why wouldn't you? Because it's
I
like
want
6 steps for us to chat when we play Sea of Thieves. You know.
exactly. I want to, because what I have to do, I use the podcast mic to play on Xbox with you guys, because
Mhm.
you complain about the AC in my room so much, and so I
Me
use
specifically, it's very
RTX.
loud.
It's very loud. It's right next to me, and I use RTX voice to cancel all that stuff out.
Mhm.
But I can't just simply, you know, connect this pod mic to the Xbox. I actually have to go through Xbox Party Chat to talk to you, and then play the game on my Xbox and use, like, it's just a whole rigmarole to get me playing Xbox with you, but chatting on the PC at the
Mhm.
same exact time with you. It's a little annoying. So I feel like this Discord app is going to help kind of simplify that to the nth degree, where
Mhm.
now I don't have to do probably 2 steps to get chatting with you. So I'm really liking this,
Mhm.
because it is not Xbox Party Chat on PC, because it is very finicky.
Sure.
It's
Absolutely.
really
And
finicky.
I'm a big fan of these third party groups being
Absolutely.
integrated. I just think it's important, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, let's move on to a different topic. And this one I think is really interesting because it kind of underscores a small point that data can sometimes lie to you. But Xbox is doing incredible despite numbers being down, and yet they're still up. All right.
Yeah.
So this is something I want you to stick with me on. Microsoft shared their 2022 fiscal year fourth quarter results. That's April through June of 2022. And it looks like there's a couple really interesting points here. Overall gaming revenue, Joe, for Xbox declined by 7% year over year. Xbox dead.
Xbox is dead.
That's
Xbox is
right.
dead. We had a good run, guys.
Yep.
Really did. Remember
Yep.
when The Rock showed up? I remember.
Well, I mean, and now Phil Spencer wants to get God of War Ragnarok. Broke the internet. Can't believe it.
Dude, I can't believe you would say such a thing.
How dare he wants to play a good game.
Right?
Xbox content and services declined by 6%, which is also year over year, which is another decline. Xbox hardware down 11%, Joe. Oh
Ooh-wee.
my goodness. Now,
Uh-oh.
all of those things might be pointing to like, oh, these negative signs, things are so bad. But in this in this same earnings report, Microsoft revealed that it has sold more Series S and X consoles life to date than any previous generation of Xbox at this point in its life cycle. It's outselling the Xbox 360, which is
Wow.
wild, right? So outside of the original Xbox or the Xbox One, sure, yeah, and not hard to do. They're outselling the Xbox 360, which is wild to me. Interesting also, this is now the third straight quarter in which Xbox has been the top hardware in North America. Another big win. 4 million people have.
PlayStation's dead, dude.
I know.
You
Well,
think
there
this?
you go. Right.
What are your thoughts on PlayStation being dead? Because that's the only way this goes.
I've been playing games for 47 years, and I've never seen this before in my life.
I've never seen this before in my life.
The last cool thing, 4 million people have streamed Fortnite on Xbox Cloud Gaming. And of that 4 million, 1 million players were new to the ecosystem. So
That's pretty rad.
that is pretty rad indeed. It's interesting to know that, like, pandemic, lack of any first party games, really, the stuff they've come out with in 2022 has been expansions, like it's expansions to already out things, or indie titles like As Dusk Falls. I said I wasn't a fan of it. No one's talking about it a week later. I told you guys, nobody listened to me. Take that, Ainsley Bowden. Yeah, it's interesting how data can lie. You know, it's like, oh, decline 7% year over year, but then you're still outpacing everything. You've got chip shortages to go with. So what do you think when you see something like this? Like, what's your first go-to reaction?
Can I tell you a reaction I saw on Twitter, and then I could tell you mine?
Tell me the Twitter reaction.
I saw when Xbox posted their quarterly numbers and you saw like things were down. One
Mhm.
person on Twitter, very rational mind, said, "Yo, I think Xbox about to take away those day one those day one Game Pass games because it ain't working for them." And then the next day, PlayStation posts what I look as a pretty abysmal quarterly earning, and I
Mhm.
just was just like, this guy. Twitter, social media. We just like to yell things in the ether.
Uh-huh.
My first reaction of this is like, yeah, it's this is even when things are dry. So like, what is this quarterly 2 earnings? Right? Correct? If I'm not
Quarter
mistaken.
quarter four, I thought.
Q4.
Hold on, let me look. Let me look.
Yeah,
Fourth quarter, April through
fourth
June.
quarter.
Yep.
Yeah. So when you take a look at the quarterly earnings, April, May, June, not a lot of games came out that time. Like
Mhm.
what did come out that time? I can't even
Only
think of anything.
expansions. No, Fort Stick was in July. Yeah, nothing.
Yeah, nothing really big. So
Mhm.
like I think this was expected for I think PlayStation and Xbox to have a pretty slow, fiscal quarter or pretty low fiscal quarter. So all this is fine, but to see that, yeah, more Xbox in this point in time, or series consoles are being sold than the 360, and we think of the 360 as, even myself, as like that's the golden age of Xbox,
Mhm. Yep.
right? And to see Xbox outperform the 360, which was a phenomenal console for them performance wise or
Mhm.
sales wise, um, that's incredible to see that Game Pass, even though their services are down, Game Pass still grew is an
Mhm.
excellent sign to show that, hey, listen, look, we don't even need a big thing here
Mhm.
every month, though they will. You know, even in the slow months, it still grows. There's still a huge interest in it. So
Mhm.
it really is when we talk a lot about building the cadence of Xbox in 2023, 2024 and beyond.
Mhm.
That's I can't wait to see the actual growth from Xbox then, because I think
Mhm.
it's going to really surprise people. I think 2023 especially is going to be Xbox's big year, and a kind of, not to, for lack of better words, the the do or die for Game Pass. Like how this thing is going to actually perform in real time, we're going to see it firsthand.
Yep.
So again, even in the dry months, it's doing well. Even though hardware may have declined a bit, though services declined a bit, it was possibly one of the slowest times for games
Mhm.
in, I think, maybe the last year or two. So
Yeah.
good. Everything's looking pretty good.
Yeah, agreed. And when you look at the Sony side of things, like their operating profit went down 37% year over year,
Mhm.
and they had a bunch of other numbers that were really not so exciting. And then you
Yeah.
think about the fact that, oh wait, they bought Bungie. That's going to cut into some profit margins there. They're building. They've got big games coming out.
Yeah.
If gaming is and this is where I go back to data can be deceiving, like yeah, things are going to go down when they've been up so high, and they're going to ebb and flow, but when
Yeah.
the consoles are doing so well, like I'm feeling good about this stuff, like I feel good. Sony's still in a great place. I still think they have the best first party catalog.
Sure.
We had a fun discussion on Cast Co-op over the past 2 episodes, which I would encourage anyone to go listen to, where we tried to rank our top 5 Sony studios and then our
Mhm.
top 5 Xbox studios. It was harder to do Xbox, I thought.
A little bit, yeah, because a lot of it is like a lot of the promise of these studios,
Mm-hmm.
or like what's their actual track record,
Right.
right? And that's what we did with PlayStation. It was like, what are the actual track records of these studios? And you're like, oh my god, yeah, like Santa Monica does not miss much, and even when
Mm-hmm.
they do, their games are still good. Like Naughty Dog, Last of Us Part 1 and 2 are good. Uncharted 4 is way too long in the tooth, but like even then, it's like, yeah, we have the promise of what is to come for Xbox, and that's what makes, I think, Xbox so exciting right now.
Yeah.
Is that, yeah, there are though the track isn't like it's unproven right now in terms of like is Redfall gonna hit, is Starfield gonna hit, you
Mhm.
still have these studios like Ninja Theory, like Bethesda Softworks, where it's just like I'm questionable on Starfield, but man, Bethesda's track record is that this game will probably be at worst good and at best a game changer for Western RPGs. So
Yeah.
like you're just taking a look at like just Ninja Theory and like in Obsidian. Look at these studios that have done so many amazing projects with such little cash, and now they're being infused by so much of it. What the possibilities for them are endless. So like to me, seeing these numbers, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a salesman. They look bad on the offset, right? Or but when you're looking at it dead on, and you kind of just look at, what came out in April, what came out in May, what actually came out in June, you're like, yeah, not much. You
Yeah.
kind of expect this. So yeah, not everything's gonna keep going up and up. There's gonna be ebb and flows, but so far, even when we get to the valley portions, it doesn't seem all too bad as of yet.
And I would argue 2022 is fully that valley of COVID because they were
Yeah,
able to push out, get things over the finish line, projects that might have been hit by work from home. But where what you're seeing now is like the stuff that really couldn't be done quickly.
yeah,
And
and
it's, go ahead.
and I saw I've seen a few comments of like, how many times are we gonna blame COVID for stuff, for like projects being delayed or pushed or whatever? It's like,
Hmm.
understand there's transitional periods,
Hmm.
and there are now gaps in like, there was a point in time everybody had to move from their office to their home, and they couldn't just take their work PC with them, right?
Right.
And then you had to somehow find a way to get all that data into a secure location with
Hmm.
your home internet, not business internet. And
Hmm.
then realize that you transitioned or start to transition away from that workplace. And it doesn't mean the workplace is back to quote unquote normal like pre 2020. It's
Hmm.
now completely changed. The landscape's completely different because there's some people that like the work from the home, and then there are
Hmm.
some people that don't. And now you have to have that type of, okay, so how do we transition to this new normal of
Hmm.
a hybrid situation? You're seeing so many people, I think, at least on the PlayStation side, going, hey, you don't need to live in North Carolina to be a part of Insomniac. You could be a
Right.
part, you could be in Canada and you could still work with us hybrid. So like there are still solutions out there that aren't perfect, that need to be fixed. And there are just some systems in place that are just learning how to do this. And that's why you're seeing the gap where it is right now, is that they're still learning how to adapt to the changing environment of how we work now.
And
So,
you could also
go
make
for
an
it.
argument that next to COVID, you've also had a bit of a reckoning in the gaming industry as social movements outside of gaming, like Black
Mhm.
Lives Matter and political elements, start moving around. Within gaming, crunch culture, toxic workplace environments, leadership toxicity, I guess you would say, has been called out in, I would argue, record numbers or with record attention, perhaps.
Yep.
And you're seeing a big shift in how people are getting paid, how people are being treated, leadership having to vacate because they don't know how to treat people. And that has caused a major shift in where talent goes. I mean, on the Microsoft side specifically, we know that the 343 has greatly struggled with its culture, not in terms of toxicity, but in like they were contracting workers for a year and a half, but then if they kept them longer, they'd have to full-time them, and then they
Yep.
would exit them, right?
Yep.
And that was happening at one point. I don't think it's happening now, but when you
I mean,
see stuff
a,
like that, go
a
ahead.
great example is Grand Theft Auto, right? With Rockstar,
Yeah.
like the Jason Schreier article that just came out. All the biggest details that struck out to me wasn't like a first female playable character in a 3D GTA. It is, hey, their culture has improved greatly from where it
Hmm.
was during Red Dead to this,
Hmm.
right? Like their culture has improved greatly with the new leadership, with the new people in charge. They're actually taking that initiative and that feedback, not just from players, but from their own staff. And that's amazing to see. But that doesn't come easily or without struggle or strife. It comes with those things.
And it won't come quickly. I
Yep.
think that's the biggest thing. Hey, look at Microsoft. They're delaying games left and right, internally, like publicly, privately. They refuse to have toxic workplaces, and that means talent's going to want to come to them, but that takes time, and that means the games are going to wait,
Mhm. Yeah,
and for
absolutely.
better or worse, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still a business, but then like I don't want anybody abused to bring me my video game,
No,
right? So
no.
it's but I did see that article about Rockstar over kind of
Over a season
changing
game.
over a season game, but changing the way that it goes about things, and I was excited to see what happens there. And one of the things that's also interesting is Grand Theft Auto was built on parody of American culture, extremisms,
Yeah.
and satire. Well, now the satire has become reality in so many ways. It'll be interesting to see how they navigate telling a story. What
Yeah.
story are they going to try to tell? Is it going to be this Lindsay Lohan-esque approach, or are they
Yep.
going to do something different? Is it going to be more grounded and real?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm curious about.
Yeah, I mean, like UFOs weren't like, real. You know what I mean? When the
Right.
last GTA came out, and you have like, or like even Red Dead, where you have like the silly like UFO abduction thing, and now
Mhm.
you have like the government going, we don't know what these objects in the sky are, and
Yeah.
everybody's just okay with it. Like, I
Yeah.
want to know how are you gonna make that funny, because that could be, if done correctly, hilarious. Right? But like,
There better be a mission where Weebs storm Area 51. Remember that?
yes, absolutely there should be. So, for GTA, there's so much promise. To me, there's so much excitement because yeah, the movements within the industry as of right now, the things that we're able to see and the things that we're unable to see, seem to be pointing in a positive direction. But again, that doesn't come without things taking a little bit more time and, fighting.
Right.
Fighting for making 40-hour work weeks a thing.
Mhm. Agree.
Which is nuts to say out loud.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. All right, let's transition away from that one.
Okay.
You and I have played kind of sparingly, but we've been checking out Multiversus. That has gone public to people who want to check that one out. This game, really good, but tracking even better over on the Xbox place. I did not pull PlayStation numbers, I'm sorry. But over on Steam, 150,000 players right now. And on Xbox, it's the number 2 most played free-to-play game behind Fall Guys. Dude, that puts it ahead of Fortnite and Rocket League and the recently launched Naraka. Remember that one went into the Xbox gaming thing. And what makes me so excited about this is Smash, like the Smash genre, has always been awesome, right? It's been a really cool genre, but Nintendo has really let down on its networking and infrastructure. And so playing Smash online is damn near impossible.
Yeah, it's not
right.
great. It really isn't great, guys.
It's not good. And so really excited that we now have a comparable Smash genre game. RIP PlayStation All-Stars, loved you. Really disappointed with Nickelodeon's All-Star Brawl.
Yeah.
But now we've got this incredible character diversity, great online infrastructure, pretty solid, I would say, battle pass system, and more characters being added all the time. Like, me, Joe, I'm in for the DC Universe stuff. Our buddy Kev's all about beating me up with Scooby-Doo characters, but like even LeBron James is in this game now.
Yeah.
Like, this is cool.
This is awesome, dude. I played a bit of it, like about an hour of this game, because I heard so many people in the early, get this game a week early access, just preach about how great this game is. Actually, shout out to friend of the show, Miles Dampierre, who wrote up a fantastic piece over at Windows Central. And this really is a very, I'm not saying like it's gonna make Super Smash Brothers cower in their boots. It's like, no, but this is, I think, for the first time when we talk about the Smash genre, where there is an actual competitor out there to Smash Brothers that feels like Smash Brothers without it being a straight up clone, if that makes any sense.
Right. Yeah. I think you're absolutely right.
And can I say something very, very controversial?
I want to hear a controversial and brave statement from you.
Yeah, and I expect a round of applause, audience. So if you're in your cars, prepare to clap. I don't care if you're on the highway. I'm expecting this. There are some things and elements in this game that make it a lot more fun than Smash Brothers. And the one
Mhm.
thing that I'm thinking of is when you're doing team play, like a 2v2, for example, if I'm about to get smashed out of the arena, some characters, I think most characters have the ability to, I think it's like either hold Y or triangle to actually zip them back to the ring.
Mhm.
And like if you hold Y all the way, you get them completely back in the arena. Or like if you get hit, it gets interrupted, but at least they get a chance to jump back into the arena. So like it adds an extra layer um strategy to the game that's not there in Smash Brothers, and the fact that like you get to have certain upgrades. So like not every like, for example, down B is like a downward slash. Like Wonder Woman's down B when she's stationary is she gives everyone a defensive power up around her.
Mhm.
Like those type of things aren't, at least once when I played Smash, weren't there. That's here in this game that I think make the game a lot more fun, or at least different enough so that it doesn't feel like, oh yeah, Batman is just, Captain Falcon or something like that.
Right. And it gives a depth to the game. It allows a meta to exist for those that are interested in it, but it's also very playable by casual players.
Yeah.
I really think there's a strong potential that this is gonna jump up there and stay with Fall Guys, with
I
Fortnite, with
hope.
Rocket League. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I think
Yeah, I
that's
hope, because it has so much promise. And not just that, but like Brawlhalla is pretty darn successful as well for
true. Yeah.
Ubisoft, I like to think. So like that just adds another player in the arena to say, hey, listen, Smash doesn't have to always be the one, you know?
Right.
Here's
Right.
my question for you.
Okay.
Do we see the success of Multiversus influence PlayStation or Microsoft
Mm-hmm.
to have their own game? Like, does PlayStation see this and go, okay, well, maybe let's try it again? Or do you think Xbox looks at this and going, okay, let's do it. We have the characters to do this. Let's have Doom Guy fight, the Arbiter.
So it's a great question. And I think that both companies have already considered it. PlayStation's done it,
Yep.
right? Xbox had Killer Instinct, and they had characters like from Halo and Gears and such in Killer Instinct. I think though what you're likely to see are PlayStation and Microsoft petitioning to get their characters into Multiverses as
Okay.
guest characters. I think that's a smarter move rather than having to build something from the ground up, because this is looking so good. And I think what you actually see is Xbox is well positioned to have a fighter of their own, maybe a fighting game like another Killer Instinct game or Killer Instinct like game, another Mortal
Yeah.
Kombat S game with their characters versus a brawler like this, right? Because this, if it does maintain, this has a huge potential. We saw a question written in by Famous Seamus, who I believe is the most famous Seamus that you or I have ever heard of.
That's a fact.
Yeah, I mean, and it's science too.
It's science. Look it up in the book.
He wrote us and asked, with Multiverses out now, what are some characters you want to see in the game? I mean, Joe, the possibilities are pretty endless just within WB. You've got the Matrix characters. You got the Pennywise the Clown could be in there.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings, which means the Hobbit, which means the new Rings of Power. There's a lot of DC characters.
Well, Lord of the Rings now is sort of, that's Amazon now. Think of them as Amazon now.
The old ones, like, could they use the old movie characters, like the old Gandalf and such?
I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know. But like the Rings of Power is an Amazon made thing, and I think it's also produced in-house by Amazon, not Warner Brothers.
Gotcha. Okay. So we have potential for a lot of franchises, but like, I want Neo in there. Are you kidding me? I'll fight Batman with Neo, and I'll beat Arya Stark up and down with Bugs Bunny.
First off, shout out to Arya Stark, who plays like a mixture of Kirby and Link, which is just insane. To me, because there was like a leaked list, and there was one that stood out to me, but I think is using the wrong character.
Okay.
I want Roy Kent in the show Ted Lasso, because I know you never watch the show. You need to.
It's an Apple
fantastic
thing.
Yes, it is an Apple Plus thing, but it's a Warner Brothers production. So Warner Brothers produces the show, or sorry, Warner Brother made the show, Apple produces the show, or something like that. I don't know how production works. I'm not a doctor again. But yeah,
Okay.
I want Roy Kent in there. Roy Kent makes a whole lot of sense. He looks angry all the time. If there's anyone that's going to get violent on that show, it's Roy Kent. So yes, I want him in there ASAP. The other one that I'm surprised isn't in there yet is King Kong. Where's King Kong in here? Because he could
I guess
just
that's
be a
true.
Donkey Kong clone.
Yeah, that's true. They might have truly avoided putting him in favor of the Looney Tunes, getting them kind of set in there, but also avoiding any direct comparisons just yet. Maybe that's a
That's
goal.
fair.
Like they don't want those direct comparisons.
Yeah,
But
that's
you're
fair.
right. That's a good choice to put in there.
Well, what
I
about
like
you?
that.
What's a choice that you'd like?
I mean, Neo for sure. I want Neo in that game, and not Matrix Resurrections Neo. Don't ever. That
Don't
doesn't
ever
even exist. That's so.
don't
Oh god,
don't
it's
bring
so
that
bad.
movie up again.
I definitely
Don't you
want
dare,
Neo
Elise.
in there. Agent Smith should be in there.
Sure.
And more villains from DC I think would be dope. Like throw Darkseid in there, throw Scarecrow in there, the Joker. You know, I mean, they're
Yeah.
coming.
Yeah.
But like the possibilities are endless. Like get Michael Jordan in there. You got LeBron James. Get
That's
Michael
what I was
Jordan in there.
actually about to say. Why not get Michael Jordan in there? Goddamn, who's the giant rooster? Remember the giant rooster?
I know who you're talking about. Yes,
My
but
God,
it's
get him in there.
my
Like,
God.
yeah,
Yeah,
get him in there.
and
There's
have
so
fun with
much.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
have fun with it. Yeah, I feel like Warner Brothers has done such a poor job, evolving some of their classic like Looney Tunes into, the main spotlight of today.
Yeah.
Because honestly, Looney Tunes is so incredible. Like I miss the Looney Tunes so much. Bring them back, and I think that this is a great way to kind of highlight the legacy, I think even more so that WB has but fails to execute constantly on. So
Mhm.
that's what I kind of want to see from them, man. I want to see them embrace their legacy a bit more and not just throwing in DC characters, but like the obscure stuff that we don't think about. Again,
Mhm.
like throwing like Ted Lasso characters in there. That's hilarious because like they don't make sense why they would be there, but they're there.
Right. And you could get a few Mortal Kombat characters in there too.
Yeah.
You know,
Why not Scorpion and like get some, yeah, get some. What's the other guy? What's the guy's name?
Sub-Zero.
Sub-Zero in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, and I mean this wholeheartedly, I want Kratos in there. I want Master Chief in there. I want Doom Guy in there. I love seeing those kind of crossovers in there where it's not taken too seriously, but essentially they're saying, hey, use this character in this game that's doing well and
Yep.
let Batman fight him. I don't care. Like Fortnite has shown us that it doesn't damage the brand if it's in the, I mean, for God's sakes, we have the worst season of Fortnite ever, vibing. But like Darth Vader comes down and shuttle Tydirium and he's on the map too. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I'm like, you know what? I can play Fortnite again.
Yeah. And I don't think we mentioned Harry Potter. Harry Potter's WB, right? That's WB.
I mean, I think there would be a weird licensing thing with them, but I would think in time, yeah, you get a little wizard in there.
You know what? Put J.K. Rowling in the game. That's something you were telling me privately, right? You wanted your hero in the game?
Yeah, my hero, someone I look up to, someone who's never said anything really dumb. Honestly, I think you should put her in there because a lot of people take a lot of frustrations out.
She should be an end boss, like the hand from Smash.
Oh my God, real talk. Look at you could get Mel Brooks movies in there.
Oh, you mean like Spaceballs?
Yeah, Spaceballs, Blazing Saddles. Was it his version of Robin Hood, Men in Tights? Like, dude, that would be fantastic to get Dave Chappelle's character from that movie in there. But yeah, like there's a lot of stuff that they can do here, man. A lot of stuff. So I want to see them embrace their weirdness more than like, hey, let's put the Master Chief in here because he's not a WB property. I want to see right now, the first 2 years at the very least, WB properties.
First year. Give it the first year.
Yeah.
By year 2, I want Kratos in there, man.
Yeah, by year 2, then you could get a little weird.
And I'm gonna. This is my last one.
Okay.
I want Bert and Ernie in the game. They're not WB, but
I was gonna say WB.
let's get some Sesame Street in there. You know,
Fair enough.
Here comes Big Bird.
Oh my God, they also own Cartoon Network, I believe.
Yeah, Dexter could be in there. Yeah,
Yeah,
so.
put Dexter in there. Kids Next Door. There's again, you guys, come on.
I still want Bert and Ernie in there. I think.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've got a few questions written in by some amazing people and Suddy, which is cool. But I want to start first with one from Edward Varnell. Now, Edward always puts me on my toes. Sometimes Edward's questions are out there. Love you, buddy. Sometimes they are right here, like right dead center, hitting my soul. And I love this question.
Okay.
This is from the Retro Code. When did you appreciate M-rated games, and when did you really take mature themes and narratives? Does a game like Grease or Spiritfarer execute the same tone of mature content as you can relate to or appreciate? Now, Joe, I'm going to let you think about this one while I kind of tackle it.
Yeah, I got it, but you could go.
Okay, so I really started to appreciate M-rated games with Metal Gear Solid. He was talking about love, political intrigue, battlefield, like psychological damage on the battlefield. That was where my exposure to mature games came in. But I often use gaming for escapism, Edward, and I don't like playing games that are explicitly about like my mental health, right? When it's in something like Hellblade, that is just enough to escape from reality where I'm good. But when it's so down to earth, like a lot of indie games, like I really don't like As Dusk Falls, it's very real. And I lose interest for it. I enjoy darker tones for things like Daredevil or Snyderverse, the Batman. Those are all like my heroes being in a dark world. I like mature themed elements in that versus something like Miss Marvel. But where I get really frustrated, and Joe, tell me if you ever notice this, I get really ticked when people identify some things as mature versus others. And my example is going to be Bayonetta 3.
Okay.
Bayonetta, great character, female empowerment, agency, brilliant, really cool moves and stuff. But like she shows nudity in her games, and it's always like that cheeky little like, well, my hair is covering the part of the boob, right?
Yeah.
But it really bothers me that Bayonetta 3 has this naive angel mode where she stays covered up, and the argument being like, now you can play the game with kids in the room. But they're worried about the wrong thing. Bayonetta is still going to be slaughtering down people, shooting people left and right. She has guns on her feet. So the violence and the murder and whatnot is all okay, but showing natural nudity is not. That bothers me when I hear the mature discussions. And it's kind of like when we worked at GameStop, like I don't want my kid to see a boob, but yeah, he can shoot people. That's fine.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember describing the second level of Saints Row to someone where you're in a brothel and you're chasing people. You're chasing a guy that's like running away in a carriage that is like an S&M carriage, and then like I'm explaining that to the dad, and he's just like, something he hasn't seen at home. Like, really?
Yeah.
What is your house like, sir?
Right.
You know?
Yeah. And so, like, what's mature? Like, nudity to me should be okay, but murder and violence, like, that's the one that's everyone's upset about.
Yeah.
So I think, I go back to multiple answers here, but I don't like the grounded reality stuff for my darker tones. That's not what I play video games for. But mature themes, I do enjoy that in my escapism.
First game that comes to mind. First off, I get very upset when people say that Miss Marvel is a good show, because it's not. It's an abomination, and half that cast cannot act.
Thank you. All right, I was scared to say it. Yeah, it's not a good show.
Yeah, no, I'll be the brave one, and everybody expect another round of applause. So that being said, Miss Marvel is atrocious. No, there you go. BioShock. BioShock's the first game. Because I'm a wee bit younger lad. So I remember getting that game on 360, and I was like, oh, games can also tell these types of stories. Like introduced to like something that's actually making me think deeper than that's bad guy over there. I need to get from A, B, C to D to all the way to Z to get to him. No, there was something way more here, and I think that deep lore as well that helped so much. So those themes, BioShock really introduced me to them. At least that's the first one that comes to my mind.
Mhm.
Um, as for like mature titles, I think Spiritfarer and the other game that you mentioned,
Grease.
yeah, Grease, are really good tales. Even Journey's a great tale as well. I just played Stray. Those actually carry a lot of mature themes of like mortality, what is life, what happens to us after all this is done and gone. um all those things, and like the journey of going from one plane of existence to the probably not, like those things. Everybody laugh. Those things are interesting, and they tackle mature tones without a M rating. And I think execute them probably some of the best. And I'm thinking like Journey being one of them. So like you don't need a shotgun to the chest or a uh you know you know a golf stroke to the temple to make something hit. To get that mature tone, you don't need
Right.
to see a nip to understand that like there's something bigger at play here. But that doesn't mean that those things are just over the top. Those also have a right to exist. It's just the way we tell the games or tell these stories and how we want them to be told, and what is going to impact that player more. Because
Mhm.
there are points of The Last of Us that I find equally impactful to a game like Journey, vice versa. It's
Mhm.
just a different way it impacts you. So
Right.
though you don't need all the gore or limbs tearing off in Journey,
Mhm.
those things happening in The Last of Us, yeah, it makes a lot of sense, and it hits a different note.
I struggle sometimes because Journey, I think people ruined Journey for me,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Uh, I did not get any mature sense of anything there.
Oh,
Nothing.
really? Okay.
Absolutely
How dare
nothing.
you?
But I think it's because people took the moment away from me, you
Sure.
know? Whereas in The Last of Us, the first one, that game to me is stellar.
Yeah.
And the end moment, the non-choice that you are given at the end, that was the most front-facing mature moment I had in gaming to that point, where it was like, I don't get a choice here. I'm in a world that I could not choose, and I felt something akin to like, this is what it'd be like to be trapped in this situation, you
Yep.
know? And so that to me was really good writing. I don't think Last of Us 2 was good writing,
How
but I
dare you?
really love the first one.
Yeah.
I don't want to play it again, which is another thing. Like there are movies that I don't ever want to watch again,
Sure.
but they're so good that
Yeah.
that one time out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
No, I think you're dead on. Also, like another game that hits really well, that's pretty gory, and I think hits equally hard. And it is a zombie thing. Is like The Walking Dead season 1 is a stellar game that I
yeah,
will never play again, but it's stellar.
yeah,
It's absolutely incredible. And that non-choice at the end made me feel something.
hmm
Um, and that's the thing too. It's like the stories that the narrator or the person writing it rather wants to tell. I
hmm
love those. I like that, those little the non-choices at the end. It's like no 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 no. This one's out of your control. This is how the story goes. I like those. Those are bold moves. So yeah.
I think the recent example of As Dust Falls, I don't like that game.
Mhm.
I really want to interview the team because the game is not bad, right? Like I
Right.
don't like it. It's not the same as saying it's a bad game, which
Yeah.
is a consistent thing I feel like we unfortunately have to keep reinforcing. Um,
Yeah.
but that's a
Except if
very
it's
mature
Miss
game.
Marvel, we have to be really honest with ourselves and look
I'm
at
so
ourselves
glad
in
you
the
said
mirror.
it because I never want to be the guy because yeah, yeah, I don't want anyone thinking I'm storming a Capitol because I don't like Miss Marvel.
Exactly, right? But
Like,
it's like it's just
I don't
yeah,
like
yeah,
it.
I get it. It's just I don't like it. It's not good. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, my
Glad you may like it though.
there are two relevant things to the bigger MCU in that show, and
Yeah.
someone told me both of them, and I was like, I'm done, I'm good.
Yeah. Oh, oh,
Um,
oh, that's what I should do. I think I should just stomach the last 15 minutes.
yeah, I think that's what probably needs to happen.
All right,
Is
fair
is
you
you just stomach
just
that
stomach
that
it.
bit? Yeah. So
Here's the thing, like I love Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse because yeah, I saw myself as that hero, but the story and the hero story was actually really really amazing.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. I use that in my classroom to teach. Fun fact.
exactly. Because it's a phenomenal movie.
All right, let's go with one more question. This one's going to come from our buddy James Suddy, whom we love. Mr. James Suddy says, "What are some of your go-to playthings outside of Xbox and PlayStation?
The hell
And
is
why
this
is it
question?
each other's moms?"
Whoa,
First of all,
Sonny.
you leave my second wife out of your mouth, Suddy. Okay,
Exactly. That's my mother.
Yeah, disrespectful.
Yeah.
But your go-to playthings outside of Xbox worded so
Really,
weird.
that's so weird, Sonny. That's that's uncomfortable. Like playthings. What, you mean hobbies?
Yeah, I think he means hobbies. I don't know. I read comic books.
Yeah.
I have not been wanting to read books lately. I exercise. One thing I like, but I don't. I can't compete with like our the Ains friend group. They are all like into collectibles and stuff, but they all have way more income than we do.
Dude, way more. I'm so jealous. Like Ains literally showed. I wish this was a joke. It's not. He showed us boxes littered of like statues. Like, look at what came in the mail today. I'm like, I don't know what. Like, your house looks like a UPS store. Like, that's how many boxes there are.
And then he tells us, he's like, "Yeah, just store it in the garage." What?
What?
Crazy.
So you have them, you can't even admire them?
Yeah.
In your...
It's
Oh
wild.
boy. Disposable income, let me tell you.
Yeah. Any of your go-to playthings?
I really do. Again, Sonny, I feel like we got a different vernacular. Hobbies, things you like to do, activities even. I don't know, man. I like watching a good old TV. I like watching a good old movie here and there. I really, in my older age, as I gotten older, I really dig just going to the movies alone. So good. Great. It's so no one's there. It's like noon. You're there with like 3 other people. Like I watched Top Gun Maverick that way. Oh my God. I had the whole theater to myself. It was beautiful.
Top Gun Maverick is a film, dude.
Yeah.
It's a film. It's cinema.
Cinema. It honestly, right next to Batman, it's like probably the best movie I've seen. And it gets close. It's really close. All right. And what else do I like to do? I don't know. I like to knit. My girlfriend / Luke's mother, she really likes a good infinity scarf, and I don't even
know what an infinity scarf is, but I got a lot of jokes now.
Oh, don't worry about it. We wrap each other up with them. That's what we do. It's an infinity scarf.
Okay. All right. I think we're gonna call it there. I'm going to give you the closeout, but I will let everybody know. You can, after we close out, you'll be listening to an interview with Endling, Extinction is Forever, CEO and founder of that studio. If you've not played that game, that is a mature themed game. You play as a mother fox who is trying to keep her cubs alive. It is a survival game, but it really touches on some feelings of loneliness, and the primary enemies are humanity and kind of their destroying of the environment. And it's really, really a good game. I do recommend it. It's a little on the expensive side, but there's a demo out. So check that out, guys, for sure. And good interview, 25 minutes. Javier was wonderful. Please do enjoy that. And I'll ask you before I let Joe kind of shut us down here. Please take a moment to throw an iTunes review. It means the world, and I'm so grateful when you guys do that. Click like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. I really appreciate you guys. Joseph, where can we find you, buddy?
Well, you can find me over on Twitter at Mr. Badbit. You can find my show, The Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast made by the players for the players, where each and every Thursday, me and my best friend Kyle talk about the latest, the greatest in all things PlayStation, over on YouTube, Spotify, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, wherever you find your podcast service of choice. The Trophy Room is there. If you rate us 5 stars and you share us a screenshot, you are entered to win a copy of The Last of Us digital deluxe version. So you don't have to pay the $70. I shall for you. I'm a good man like that. Man of my word. So there you go.
Yeah. Well, I am pleased now to welcome to the show Javier Romello, founder and CEO of Hero Beat Studios, makers of Endling, Extinction is Forever. Javier, thank you for joining me.
Thank you very much, Luke, for inviting. It's a pleasure for me to be here.
I'm so excited that you agreed to come on. I'm excited to talk about your game, and I think it best to start off by letting listeners know, uh, in your words, just what Endling Extinction is forever is about.
Well, imagine being the last mother fox on Earth and having to take care of three little cubs, which are defenseless, and you have to feed them and see how they grow up, all in a war which has been ravaged by human actions, and all this is based on a feasible, real future that we can get to in the future if we don't change our consumption habits. That's the idea behind it.
Well, there certainly is a lot of undertones of that, where the idea that man-made creations can be destroying natural habitats, and I want to get to that in the latter portion. But I want to start first that at its core, Extinction is a survival game. You guys have crafted this beautiful world where we are acting as a mother fox, going out with our senses at night to seek out food for our fox family. How did you settle on creating a survival game and having it married with such a beautiful and sad fox aesthetic?
Well, all the game has been created around the message. We wanted to deliver an eco-conscious message and talk about how this world could be in the future. And a survival game just was the perfect match for this topic, right? We wanted to create a lot of contrast between the environments and the mother folks. Each one is representing like a totally different thing, as the environments are all the time changing and getting worse as you play. The mother folks and the cubs are like just cute and beautiful, super colorful characters that will inspire you to keep them alive and to survive in this environment.
Well, it certainly worked for me because I was very protective of my mother fox, and of course the cubs that come with it. And I think much of that had to do with kind of the contrast that you're talking about. But several things stood out to me immediately in my first few minutes with the game. And the first of those was the sound design. Little small squeals from our little fox family, or dulcet and ominous music tones, really captured a mood. Can you talk to me a bit about, yeah, how you guys captured that aesthetic and captured that atmosphere via sound?
Indeed, the sound design was one of the first thing we started working on, because we knew that if we wanted to create like an authentic game about being a fox and we wanted to keep the fantasy, we wouldn't have the more folks like pulling levers or doing uh, like complex puzzles or something like that, right? So we started thinking about what normal folks could do, not a magical folks or a sci-fi folks. And one of the things that, of course, foxes do well is to listen, right? They have like a super good hearing sense. And we tried to take advantage of this and create the sound design based on what would be what a real fox could do. So, of course, the game is a side-scrolling game, so you have like a limited vision. But the real folks, the character you are playing, could indeed like see farther, right? So see and also hear. So we like gave all this feedback through the song design. Like you can identify what kind of enemy is coming to you off screen, just by hearing hearing the soundtrack, how it changes. Also, we wanted to give like a super emotional mood to the game. We created a link between different instruments and the caps. So we tried to create this emotional bond between the mother caps and the mother folks and the caps. Sorry, through the sound design. So if you lose one of the caps, that instrument is lost forever, and you will feel that in the soundtrack. You will miss something in the soundtrack that will be like that for the rest of the adventure.
I did not pick up on that. That's interesting. So the idea that once, if the player is to lose one of the cubs, which is heartbreaking, mind you, one of the instruments is also gone.
That's right. Yeah. It's not the only thing that you are losing if you lose one of the caps, of course. There is, I mean, losing a cap for some people is already enough from an emotional point of view, and that's okay. But we also wanted to for the player to feel a loss in terms of gameplay, because your caps eventually will start learning different skills that will be super useful for you during the rest of the adventure. Skills that will help you to get fruit from different places that you are not able to take by yourself. And if you lose that cap with that specific skill, you won't be able to do that anymore in the game. And the skills are unlocked like in a Metroidvania game, where you unlock a new skill and you can come back to a previous level, some level that you have explored before, and you use that skill in a different way. So yeah, we are avoiding the caps to become something. I mean, something that you have to score from point A to point B, and that's it. But we wanted to give them like a very important role in the progression of the game.
I noticed that it's a matter of in some games progression means your character gains abilities or power ups or learns a skill, but in this case, as you're raising the cubs in this world, they're kind of added to your repertoire and helping you solve environmental difficulties and such.
That's right. But what could adult folks learn from this world, right? If you are playing with a grown-up character, which is an animal and can like craft items or develop new skills, magical skills or something like that, we were like mm, tired, and we didn't want to give the mother folks any special ability that a normal folks couldn't do. So we
Mhm.
decided to do this player progression through the skills of the caps, which are, I mean, you start the game when they are still in the womb of the mother. So there is
Mhm.
plenty of things that they can learn and can help the mother to get different kind of food sources.
I'll tell you what, for anybody that didn't like know that the primary role of the game was mothering cubs, finding out that you were pregnant whilst fleeing that initial first fire that happens in the opening 30 seconds or so, uh, that was a big impact. Like that's a big moment to realize that, oh, not only am I in charge of my survival, now I'm charged with caring for this family. I think that has an emotional weight to it.
Yeah, we don't like to tell things like sorry for the noise in the background, guys. uh, we didn't like to tell things through text or something like that. We just wanted to put the story and tell the story through environmental storytelling. So of course, you start with the mother folks being pregnant. You can see even the caps floating in the womb and in the main menu of the game, but maybe you won't notice, and that's something that you will realize later, maybe even in a second playthrough. And there are a lot of details that we have put a lot of loves into them that we just don't clearly tell, and you have to discover. That's one of the points we are most proud of in Endling.
I want to talk a bit about the visual aesthetic. Now, in truth, Javier, I don't have the proper vocabulary to describe to listeners just how beautiful and minimalistic this art style is. So, could you do that for me? Because there's a uniqueness to this art style that I think is really special.
Thank you. Well, as I said before, like the game is a side-scrolling game. So one of the main goals for us was to try to have control of everything which is shown in just in a screen.
Hmm.
We wanted the game to be very screenshotable, you know.
Hmm.
But of course, then we realized that if the main goal of the game was to deliver this eco-conscious message, we couldn't just do a side-scrolling game, because everything that you were leaving behind in a side-scrolling is lost forever, and you don't care about that anymore. And it was very tedious to do like a huge backtracking if you wanted to revisit the places where you have been, if it was a standard side-scrolling game. So we introduced this mechanic where you can travel through all the environment. At certain points, you can interact with the environment elements, and you can start like going towards the background or foreground, and it creates kind of a sandbox experience in a side-scrolling setup. We came with this quite early in the development process, and it has like we believe that the result is very good, because we could like keep this mm, uh, this attention to detail in the art of the game, and at the same time to it was a super good match for the message that we wanted to deliver. So yeah, Endling has like a minimalistic style, like very colorful. It's not like a realistic game or something like that, but we feel that we have managed to deliver those emotions through the environment anyway. So yeah, I think the art style is quite unique, and we also love that.
Yeah, it's beautiful, and it really shows just moments of emotion that I thought really stood out to me. Early on in the game, there's a moment where an injury takes place to your fox that results in a limp. It's a man-made impact that causes your fox to limp via a trap, and I have to imagine uh, there was an intention there to showcase something and of what's to come, because I know I was very upset when I saw that my fox was limping as the result of a man-made trap.
Yeah, we didn't want to show humans as enemies. Well, just enemies. They are enemies in this story, of course. But it was very important for us to make clear that every human you find in Endling is just a survival, just as you are. It's just random people who has been caught in this situation, in this dystopian future where everything is going super bad, where humans have tried to be more eco-friendly and have tried to use uh, in a more sustainable way the environment, but we failed. So now the only thing we can do is just to to survive, right?
Hmm.
um, and that's why everyone in this game is trying to kill you, some of them because they want to take some benefit from you or just eat you, and that's it. It's not just bad people, but people who is trying to survive.
Yeah, there's definitely enemies that are natural to the environment, badgers and such. But I really found myself not liking the humans, which I think is another part of the intention.
Yeah, of course you won't like them because they are representing all the bad things that are happening to the environments and the mother folks and the caps. But again, it's they are just they're trying to survive in the same way you are doing that. So you cannot judge them for doing that, right?
Maybe not by the end, but I gotta tell you, early on, I was hard in mad at them for sure. Now I'm curious, was it difficult for the team to create those moments of pain for the fox, for the mother, for the cubs? Because there are moments of great sadness or potentially great sadness, depending on your choices, either physically or through loss. Was that difficult to animate, to create, to get sounds for?
Yeah, we have suffered a lot developing this game, um, because we have to face all those moments and just looking for documentation about how we could deliver this message without trying to without being so violent or something like that was something really hard for us. Um, of course we have avoided like creating violent moments just because, but in the moments they are needed because we wanted to deliver this message, of course they are there and they show the that well that Engling's war is harsh, and we are just depicting things that are happening actually, and we are not inventing anything, right? So it's important for us if we wanted to raise awareness about those topics that we would be like very authentic and realistic in the way that animals and environment is being used by humans.
Gotcha. I see. I see. Despite the moments of pain and sadness that you're given in the game, there are also moments of great beauty and cuteness. I'd imagine those were put in intentionally to help kind of offset the tone to make sure that we're not too sad or too frustrated.
Yeah, well, there is always some room for hope. Even in this future, there is still people who is trying to make good things. They will give you the few things they have in order for you to survive. So, yeah, it's not everything bad. There is some light in the dark.
Gotcha. Gotcha. That makes sense for sure. Let's see. We had a question from a listener who's enjoying your game and says, I've been playing it. He got to the third layer last night, but he's curious. There is a tree stump with a memorial to a young girl, and he was wondering if you could elaborate on that at any point. Is there a greater meaning to that?
Yeah. Well, as I said before, like adding those little details is something that we are super proud about, and we haven't added anything that is not there for some reason. But I would
Mm-hmm.
like people to take their own conclusions. It's the same with the environmental uh, message that we are delivering. We what we want is to put things there in the game so everyone can take their own conclusions and see and reflect about that. Right? It's not. I mean, I would prefer to avoid explain everything in the game because I think part of the beauty of the game is to try to figure out what was happening there. But yeah, I think that memorial is something very important in the narrative of the game. I invite anyone to our Discord if they want to talk and comment about this because we have a growing community of people, super good people who is just commenting all those topics in the chat.
Okay, good to know. So head to Discord, Anubis, if you want more. But it sounds I love that idea that there's a little bit there. There's definitely a reason, but discovery is part of it. Um, let's switch gears just a little bit away from kind of the heavier topics. I'm curious, were you, how do you go about when designing a game, deciding on the length of a game? The idea of have you told your story? Is the game long enough, short enough? As a smaller title, finding the length of a game might be a bit of a trick to it. How did you guys settle on Endling's length of game?
The actual length of the game was something that we decided when we started developing the game. It's not something that we discovered later. We were always aiming for this duration, and what we tried really hard is to add as much detail and quality content and raise the production value of the game without exceeding the length. I bet there is a lot of people who like to play Endling for a longer time. Like if you like longer games, if you like to go through a 10 hours length story, that's okay. But that was not the goal for us. We wanted to condensate the story so the message could be delivered without getting without losing the essence.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was very important for us, even more than trying to deliver the longest game we could. That was not on the table at any time.
When you're creating a game like this, putting out titles right now, you have a myriad of options for people to test out games: Steam, Game Pass, PlayStation Plus, all of those things. You guys have a demo that is out available for anyone that's not yet sure if they want to purchase the game. They can play the demo. What was the logic behind that one?
I think it's very important for people to try the demo because Endling is not a challenging game and it's focused on delivering this story, this message.
Mm-hmm.
So we wanted to avoid somebody to get disappointed with the kind of gameplay we were delivering because, as you said, it's a survival game. It has stealth elements. There is just a bit of Metroidvania in there, but it's not some game that maybe a hardcore player of any of those uh, genders would like to go through. Maybe they will, but if you are a super hardcore gamer, you may find that the stealth is not enough for you. And we wanted everybody to experience this from the very beginning, so they could know what kind of of game they were going to play. I think the demo it's a good depiction of what's there in the rest of the game, and I invite anybody to play it on Steam. There is also an Xbox demo. So yeah, I mean mm, we have been we had this demo for a long time, so anybody could see how the game is looking and what the mechanics are.
And I'll piggyback on that to any listeners. Definitely give it a shot. The game's $30, but if you're not sure if the gameplay is for you, that demo can do wonders. I found myself enamored, and I absolutely picked up the game. And I think listeners, you will enjoy those Metroidvania elements, but also this emotional take. So give that a shot. Uh, when you're how long did it take to create this game, Javier? Like, how long was this in development? And then I'm curious also, did creating the demo, carving out time for that, did that extend how long it took?
Yeah, we started the very first drafts. The conception phase of the game started in early 2018. So I mean, it has been like 4 years of development. It has been like a long trip for us, a super nice adventure, but also we have invested uh, our hearts into this project, which has been like um, being developed for so long. um, yeah, I think I think people will like to enjoy those all those details that we have put into the game for all this development.
Well, let me ask you this: you guys have put the game out. Are you happy with its reception?
Yeah, we love the feedback we are getting. The reviews are super good. So yeah, we're very happy. We are still waiting for more input. The game has been just released last week, so there is a lot of things that we are planning to do with Endling. We cannot talk yet about this, but I'm sure all the players will enjoy the what's coming in the next weeks or months.
Does that mean are you talking about like DLC, expansions, sequels? So how do you mean?
Uh, Sorry, I cannot talk about that yet. Yeah,
Almost got you. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
almost. Yeah.
Well, that's exciting to know that in one way or another you're not done with Endling, whatever that might mean. Does My final question, I suppose, in that realm is when you put out a title that you've been working on for 4 years and you get to see the receptions, is there a break? Because now with the constant updates that happen or with the creation of more content, do you give yourself a break? Do you take time? Do you get a quick vacation, or is it still, release date and your work next the day?
We had like a small party after work, and the day after that we had to come back to work because, as I say, there is a lot of things to do. As Hero Beat Studios, we are already working on our next projects, so there is no room for just for uh, having a long holiday, which is something we would like to do, because the development process has been very hard for everyone, and we have, as I said before, we have invested our efforts into creating this and delivering the experience. But at the same time, it's weird because um, now that the game is released, for some people who has just found out about Endling because of the release announcement and all that, is the beginning of the story. For us, is kind of the in some way the end, right? Because we have been working on this project for so long that having it released on the market is like it was a goal that we always had in mind, even though if we didn't know that we will have like a retail edition and all that stuff, which was something super cool for us to get to know. But yeah, we absolutely needed to get together and had this small party and enjoy, read the feedback from all the players, and enjoy the moment, which is something that we couldn't do in the past because we have been always under the hood working super hard on every milestone and every part of the development process.
Now, you guys are based out of Barcelona, Spain. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah. Well, we are based in Barcelona. We have a beautiful office here, but because of the pandemic, we had this lockdown and we started working remotely. So now working in the office is something optional for the team, and most of the team decided to work remotely from different cities or countries. So we just uh, like meet in special occasions where we can be all together and as this time like share all the stuff which is going on.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Well, Javier Romello, CEO and founder of Hero Beat Studios, thank you for your time. Congratulations on the launch of Endling, and I encourage every listener to check it out. Please let people know where they can find your content, find your game, and where they can follow you on social.
Sure. Well, I encourage everyone to follow us on Twitter or Instagram. We have links there to the store and or the rest of the social networks. Please visit us in Discord because we are all the time talking there about Endling, and you will love to meet the rest of the community.